What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Frank Analysis. I'm your host, Franco. Yesterday afternoon, Joe Biden signed for Juneteenth to be a federal holiday. I'm not going to be telling you how you should feel, but I will give you some food for thought. I personally, like this doesn't personally make me happy. I think that this is all, optics. But you guys are free to make up your own minds. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys a perspective from some of the African Americans that have discussed their thoughts about Juneteenth. Also, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it. Ways that you can support the show are in the description. That'll be really much appreciated so that you can help independent channels like this grow. So this was published on Twitter by CBS News, showing how Nancy Pelosi and a group of black lawmakers sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," the song called the Black National Anthem, in ceremony of the bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Biden plans to sign the legislation Thursday afternoon. So I'll play this and then I'll let you guys know my
every
thoughts about it.
voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing on.
Now I'm going to show you guys some tweets by some very politically informed black people. Here's Glory Jones, and she said, "First of all, this is just embarrassing and almost as bad as bringing out the damn kente cloths. Second of all, we can't celebrate the day slavery was abolished when it was never abolished to begin with. The 13th Amendment just legalized it in the form of prison labor." Glory brings up an excellent point. If you look at the 13th Amendment, let's read it here carefully. "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." So it's not really abolished if people who are being punished according to the laws that are implemented by our politicians, that are controlled by the elite, controlled by the multinationals, these, corporatists who are mostly white. According to those laws, if you break those laws that are set by them, you can still be a slave. Now here's a tweet from my friend Colin Radex Carter. He said, "Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday has nothing to do with the government caring about black people. It has everything to do with the donor class knowing that they can capitalize off the holiday, a la Pride Month and Black History Month." I mean, stores aren't closed. Like, people still have to go and work at retail and sell products for the capitalist owners. Lastly, here's a thread that I want all of you guys to read. I shared it on my Twitter. I think it's a really insightful tweet I think that it was a really insightful thread that was put out there by Bree Newsom. And she said, "The ongoing history of black and indigenous resistance to white settler colonialism is actively suppressed to maintain a narrative that white colonizers granted us freedom and that we must peacefully petition them via the system they established if we hope to achieve racial equality. They do this several ways. One is by suppressing knowledge of organized slave rebellions and battles between U.S. Army and indigenous nations altogether. Another is through real-time historical revisionism, where they pretend urban uprisings don't impact political affairs." And then she links to another tweet that she put up an hour before that. "People ask why the white establishment would sign off on Juneteenth holiday if they don't want to teach about slavery. But the narrative they want to focus on is how the U.S. Army marched into Texas and freed the slaves. They're unlikely to encourage historical analysis beyond that. This also reinforces the role of the white settler colonialist state as being the official arbiters of historic memory. It's similar to how they constructed Confederate monuments across the country they credited themselves for, slowly removing them as indicator of progress. The system of white settler colonialism has always involved in invalidating black and indigenous cultural traditions and historical remembrances until such time as the white elite choose to deem it valid. The highest level of validity can only be bestowed by the white power structure. The white settler state must at all times limit the boundaries of what is seen as politically possible for the colonized. It's essential for colonized people to accept the idea white colonizers gave us civilization and governance. That inclusion in their system is our highest aim. The greatest existential threat to the white colonizer system is people divesting from the belief in white cultural superiority and expanding their imagination of what is possible when it comes to political and economic systems. We continually have moments where the system is brought to the brink because people are increasingly divesting from the culture of white supremacy. It tends to explode into moments of crisis as it did in the aftermath of George Floyd and similar incidents prior and since. It's at those times that the white power structure scrambles to hold the system together by making minor concessions as needed, like releasing steam from the valve in order to keep the colonized invested in the idea of progress and inclusion. This is when we see an increase in symbolic gestures, the official removal of monuments as opposed to them being toppled in uprisings, commemorations, difficult conversations panels, proposed legislation that rarely gets enacted, state-approved murals and public art. These are all ways the white power structure constantly manages popular historical memory, essential for managing political imagination in the present, the primary historical narrative that must be upheld, that we are indeed making progress under the auspices of our colonizers. So what Bree Newsom and Glory Jones and Colin, what they're all trying to say is that this is just optics. It's try to appease people. You try to give us a sense of the illusion of accomplishment. Meanwhile, on my Discord, which I recommend you guys all join because we exchange a lot of information on there and people get together and meet each other so they can organize events or just become friends and share information. This was shared by ICU on my Discord, one of the users there. He's also a consistent watcher of the show. This was published on RT. It says, as U.S. declares Juneteenth new slave ending holiday, Supreme Court rejects lawsuit by slaves in Africa. Child slaves trafficked to cocoa plantations in Africa can't sue Nestle for general corporate activity in the U.S. The Supreme Court has ruled on the same day President Joe Biden declared a new holiday marking the end of slavery. So the priority for this country, for these politicians, is for corporations, is to continue to help them. It's not really actually to help us, it's to help these corporations that pay them. We see this with how our government protects big pharma, protects the chemical industry, like businesses like Monsanto. Meanwhile, the inequality is increasing. What happened during the pandemic is especially affecting Black and brown people economically. So to me, and to some of the people who tweeted out about this, to us it seems like this is just optics. Make of that what you will. As long as people keep voting for these politicians that serve corporations over the people, we're going to keep seeing stuff like this, optics. Yeah, instead of actually helping people economically, all these people that are losing their houses, that are in debt because the cost of healthcare is so high. You see that even the progressives are celebrating this as if it's some sort of accomplishment, when the government isn't actually helping Black people economically. So the solution isn't to just keep voting for progressives or keep voting for the lesser of two evils. The solution is to opt out of the system, And for more details on that, you can subscribe to this channel and look at the videos that I've done in the past that discuss solutions. I discuss solutions as in depth as possible in my panel discussions as well when I bring people on. I also discuss solutions in the Discord, which I recommend you guys all to join. My name's Franco, and you're watching Frank Analysis. Once again, subscribe, share, follow me on Rockfin. YouTube demonetized this channel and is suppressing a lot of independent content creators. And most importantly, stay informed.